Hi, I am Patty, and I am here today to talk a little bit about getting through the holidays as a family member of somebody who has struggled with substance abuse. And so today I'm going to talk a little bit about that and a little bit about our personal story and some of our experiences that we had as a family dealing with how to get through holidays. Holidays are stressful enough as a family member, as a mother. Without any extra layers of things like somebody in your family having a substance use disorder. But when you do have somebody who's struggling with addiction, it makes it that much more difficult. And so it can be a really stressful time. I have a big group of people that I'm around that have all had similar experiences, and I asked them a little bit before this to give me some of their thoughts on what happened during their holidays. And it was interesting, some of the words that came about, things like empty and stressful and joyless and scary and sad. Those were words that were commonly used by people when I were asking them. And but on the flip side, there were people that also used the words joyful and happy, because there's a lot of different places in this journey that people find themselves that bring about different feelings and different experiences that their families have. So I kind of want to start off by just talking a little bit about the fact that people are in different places in this journey. So people have family members that are in active addiction that are currently using. They might be living in their home. They could be on the streets. They could be, living, going couch to couch, and that creates a whole set of emotions that come with that when it comes to the holidays. You may have a family member who is incarcerated. That goes hand in hand with addiction and with substance use. And so those family members have a really different set of emotions that go with it. You may have a family member that's in treatment. And again, although for many people that would be an amazing experience, for those that are in that experience, it does create its own host of issues. And then I'm around a lot of people who have lost their loved ones to addiction. And obviously for that group, it creates a whole other set of emotions. So I kind of want to talk about those four different groups a little bit and how, as family members, I experienced it in my own journey, as well as how other people that I've been around have done that. I'm with an organization called Not One More Alabama, which is a nonprofit that supports families. So I'm in a unique position to be around a lot of families and to learn a lot about other people's stories and other people's journeys. And so in addition to my own, I can share from that experience as well, and what they've told me and what I've learned from them. So I guess I'll start with the first population. The first population, and it's probably the largest group, are just people who have family members that are struggling today. And I have a son, my oldest son, who is an alumni of Bradford and has been sober for about 6.5 years now. But it doesn't take me much to go back to the days when he was in active addiction and when he was struggling and how that impacted our family. It's very real. It still feels very raw when I let myself go back there. I don't do that much because there's not really a reason to do that. But when I do, and in a situation like this where I need to think about that and think about how we felt, it's very raw in remembering, just how difficult those holidays were. I think as a mother, and that's the place that I can speak from the most, is that when you're a mother and you have a home and you have a family, you have a set of expectations for yourself of what the holidays should look like. You want to create traditions for your family. You want to create an environment for your family that is nurturing and warm and loving and happy. And those are the things I think most people strive for the holidays, especially mothers, because that's our caretaking and our nurturing role in the family is to do that. So that can look a lot of different ways for different people, but for the most part, it's bringing the family together, having family gatherings, having family events, decorating, meals together, game time together, watching movies together. It's creating these moments as a family together. And as a mother, you're kind of the one that sets the stage for that. And when everything's rocking along fine, those are some amazing memories. Those are some really good times for families, and most families look back at those times with fondness and with love. But when you have somebody in your family who is struggling with a substance use disorder, that is using substances, it changes the whole dynamic, because you still have this need to create this environment and to create this situation that the whole family can come together. But you have one family member that is really struggling to be a part of that. And I think there's an old saying that, as a mother, you're only as I don't remember exactly what the saying is, but something to the effect that you're only as strong as your child who's struggling the most. And I've said that many, many times over the years that when my son was in active addiction, when his struggles were front and center in our life, that 80-90% of my energy went into trying to save him and fix him, and that left very little for the rest of the family. And that was on a good day. You add something in like the holidays, and that just adds to that stress. It just adds to that that disproportionate energy that you put into that child, because you're trying to on so many levels, because there's so many issues going on. You're trying to create this picture perfect moment, but it's just not picture perfect. And perhaps you're in a place where you're not really openly having that conversation in your family. You're not talking about it. You're trying to hide it. You're trying to keep it from being something that is becoming front and center. But then they do something like come in intoxicated or high. Maybe they leave prematurely from a family event. Maybe they show up late for a family event. Maybe they bring somebody with them that was an uninvited guest to the party, that is not somebody that you had planned on. Maybe they're ill. I know that I've got people that I know whose family members really, really try around the holidays to be that person, that their family member. Maybe they have some internal rules that they're not going to use their substances in the house that's their parents' house. So maybe they start going into withdrawals. They start getting sick. They start feeling bad. So instead of being this joyful participant in the family, they're ill. They're ornery. They're disagreeable to be around. They disappear. They leave. So many scenarios that disrupt this picture that we've created for the family. And then at the same time, it takes away from those other people in the family that are there. In my situation, I have 3 children. If you're giving 90% to one, that leaves very little for the others. And so not being present for the other people in your family that need you, I think, is something that happens to a lot of people. So having somebody in your family that is struggling is hard. People have family members that come from out of town, visitors that come to enjoy the holidays with them. And maybe you're not ready to have that conversation about what's happening with your family member. So that can be really a difficult place. So it's hard. Those are hard times to get through. Similar if you have somebody in your family that maybe isn't there physically because they're incarcerated or maybe they're in treatment. But that conversation can be a big empty hole. Like, why are we not talking about that person? Why is that person not being discussed? Why are they not here? I mean, there's so many questions that can come about. So all of that creates a really stressful scenario for that family member that's going through it. And I think you have to start trying to do some work on your own to figure out ahead of time how you're going to get through the holidays, how you're going to get to a place where the holidays can be enjoyable and a time that even with these things going on in your life, you still can take that time and embrace it with your family and enjoy it and have a memorable holiday.